Tonight, Call for Christmas may not be on your holiday wish list, but for many people in Afghanistan, it is a life-saving gift as they face a harsh winter. The Vulnerable People Project's Call for Christmas initiative aims to help 1 million Afghans at risk of starvation and exposure this winter, many of whom are Christians, widows, and orphans of former Afghan allies. And joining us tonight in our studio is Jason Jones, host of The Jason Jones Show and champion of Catholic human rights. Jason, so good to be with you.
Thank you, Tracy. It's great to be back with you.
So last year we talked to you about this initiative. You kicked it off last year. For those who are not familiar, tell us more about it. And really, it is a life-saving project.
So last year, you had me on to talk about our evacuation efforts to rescue Afghans, Christians, and our Afghan allies who are being hunted by the Taliban. We raised so much money that we were able to begin to address the crisis of starvation and exposure that we believe we probably fed more people than the World Food Program last year. We launched our Call for Christmas campaign because the only 50% of Afghanistan right now is suffering from severe hunger. That's 50% of the country is suffering from severe hunger. The only question is, will they die from exposure first? So we're relaunching the Call for Christmas campaign, and our goal is to get food and coal to 300,000 Afghans. For those most vulnerable, the Christians, there's 30,000 Christians in Afghanistan in hiding, unable to provide for themselves, and our goal is to keep them alive through the winter. That's approximately 30,000 folks.
Yeah, it has been a little over a year since the U.S. withdrew from Afghanistan and the Taliban took over. Give us a sense, I mean, you touched on this, but give us a sense of where things are right now economically in that country. Where are things for girls and women, and a little bit more about religious minorities?
There's a glimmer of hope, but the truth is things are a lot worse this year than they were even last year. Hunger is worse, exposure is worse, violence is worse. The Taliban is waging a war against ISIS-K, and ISIS-K has been targeting the Hazara community specifically, blowing up girls' schools, attacking religious minorities. So things are very bad. 5 Xanax costs the same as 1 piece of bread. So parents are buying Xanax to give to their children because they're starving to death and the Xanax helps them sleep. These are the decisions the parents are making. So to put this in perspective, $250 feeds a family of 7 through the winter, but they can get 5 Xanax for the price of 1 piece of bread, and parents have to make this tough choice. That's where they are. Yeah. That's where we are in Afghanistan right now.
I know we talked about this before, I think this time last year, when we were reading reports of families selling their children just to feed the other children that they have. It's really dire over there.
Yeah, they sell their children so both children can live. The child they sell will live regardless of the horrible things that will happen to them, and the child that they keep will then have food.
It's really hard to believe. I actually read today the Associated Press is reporting that Afghan girls will now be able to take their high school graduation exams. But we did hear before that they barred girls from attending middle school and high school. What more do you know about this? Does this signify a change in policy?
There's a change, and this is the Glimmer of Hope. So our organization, VPP, right now provides armed security guards and have installed security cameras at 4 girls' schools that serve religious minority communities. The Taliban has signaled a change, and now they are now allowing girls to go to school. Maybe 10% of girls in Afghanistan have access to some sort of education. And the Taliban is waging a war against ISIS. ISIS is targeting girls' schools. In fact, several weeks ago, they bombed a Hazara school, killing 22 girls, and VPP then paid for those funerals. What was heartbreaking for us is that school was on our list of schools to be secured. We've ordered the schools in order of risk, and it was really heartbreaking for us to see a school that we were looking to secure in the coming weeks that was targeted. But it seems that the Taliban is changing their position. They are now open, and even in some places it seems supportive of girls' education.
That is a glimmer of hope, and that is good to hear. Something on a different note, I wanted to kind of get your perspective on. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, she recently compared the U.S. to Afghanistan and also Sudan when it comes to abortion and women's rights because of Roe being overturned. What's your reaction to that?
It's the first I heard of this. I've worked in both countries. That is really the most offensive thing I've ever heard. And I can't imagine how devoid of empathy former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton could be. Women are hiding. Our organization this week is working to rescue a girl who ISIS had told the parents that they're going to come and take her on her birthday and marry her off to one of their fighters. That a former Secretary of State could say something like that for political points in the United States is really, I did not hear that, and that's quite offensive.
Yeah.
And I'm glad she remembered Afghanistan. You know, Mother Cabrini said to Pope Leo XIII in 1988 when she wanted to go to China, and Pope Leo XIII said, "That's awful ambitious." She said, "Well, my real ambition is Afghanistan." And he said, "Afghanistan?" She said, "I feel the world has forgotten Afghanistan, so I remember."
Yeah, well, we're glad that you remembered Afghanistan.
Let's remember.
Yeah, let's remember it. And absolutely, for people who are watching this and wondering how they can help, tell us where we can get more information for your Coal for Christmas initiative.
Go to coalforchristmas.org. The best gift we can give this year is a child in Afghanistan coal for heat and food. $250 will keep a family of 7 alive through the winter. EWTN, as you know, not only helped us rescue so many vulnerable people, but keep tens of thousands of Christians and other minorities alive. We want to double what we did last year, this year, because it's even worse this year.
Yeah, Jason, thank you so much, my friend, for what you do. We appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you, Tracy.